Hey boys and girls, for our story this morning, I thought I would read us another story from The Bibeloseed and Other Lost Stories by Dr. Seuss. The one we're going to read today is called Gustav the Goldfish. The man who sold Gustav the Goldfish to us had warned us, take care when you feed this small cuss, just feed him a spot. If you feed him a lot, then something might happen, it's hard to say what. That's what the man said, so I tried to take care to feed Gus just a pinch, but it never seemed fair, 'cause he always looked sad when he gulped down the stuff, and his eyes seemed to tell me that isn't enough. Then he'd always blow bubbles, as much as to say, come on, don't be stingy, I'm hungry today. So there's the boy and Gustav the Goldfish. Gus had to have food. Not a spot, but a lot. No matter what happened, I didn't care what. So finally one day, poor old Gus looked so thin, I took the whole box and I dumped it all in. But the second I did it, I saw I'd done wrong. That fish food, I guess, must be terribly strong. The second Gus ate it, he grew twice as long. He grew twice as thick and he grew twice as wide. Too big for his fishbowl, his tail was outside. And there he is dumping in the whole box of fish food, and Gus there doubled in size immediately. This doesn't sound good. He was bursting the glass. He was big as a trout. So I grabbed for the rose bowl and I yanked the rose out. My mother's best bowl, but I spilled Gustav in it. But what was the use, 'cause the very next minute, Gustav was bigger, as big as a shad. And he looked through the glass, and he looked mighty mad. And he splashed, and he thrashed, and he burped, and he blew, as much as to tell me I blame this on you. This is your fault, 'cause you fed me a lot. Get me out of here quick. Get me out of this spot. To the back of the house, to the kitchen I ran. I needed more water. I filled up a pan. I poured Gustav in it as fast as I could, but he kept right on growing. It did him no good. I poured him from pot into pot after pot. But the faster I poured him, the bigger he got. Then I ran out of pots, and poor Gustav still grew. Oh, it's awful what one box of fish food can do. There he is, in the vase that he had the rose in. They took it out, and there he is throwing him in pot after pot after pot in the kitchen. And every pot he goes into, he just keeps getting bigger. Water, more water, he'll die in the air. I raced from the kitchen and up the hall stair, upstairs to the bathroom, and oh, what a climb, 'cause the fish in my arms grew and grew all the time. Each step he kept groaning and rolling his eyes. When I got to the top, he was halibut size. He was almost too big for a fellow to lug, but I got to the bathtub and put in the plug, and I turned on the cold water faucet full blast. Gustav, I've panted. You're safe now at last. Gustav, I panted, this tub ought to do. It holds my whole family. It ought to hold you. There he is running up the stairs to put him in the bathtub. Look how big he's gotten. You think he'll keep getting bigger? But it didn't hold Gustav. He kept right on growing. And the whole bathtub was filled, overflowing. And my parents, I knew, would be very upset, 'cause the water was making the bathroom quite wet. It was up past my ankles, my knees, past my waist. I saw Father's shaving brush, toothbrush, and paste bobbing around in the ocean, but what could I do? 'Cause Gustav, my goldfish, still grew, and he grew. He was as big as a dolphin, a porpoise, a seal. Oh, why did I ever feed Gustav that meal? Just because I was careless and fed him a lot, I would drown in this bathroom as likely as not. Then bang, with a crash and a terrible roar, and a splintering smash, we burst right through the door. And Gustav and I shot into the halls, and back down the stairs like Niagara Falls. So the water bust out of the bathroom and sent them flying down the stairs like a waterfall. The Niagara Falls are a waterfall on the edge of Canada and New York, the state of New York. And they're really big. Then the first thing I knew, we were down in the cellar, And Gustav, my fish, was a gigantic feller, too wild and too dangerous to handle alone. I needed some help, so I rushed to the phone and quick dialed the number of Mr. Van Buss, the man who sold Gustav the Goldfish to us. "Come over, please, mister. He's as big as a whale. He's banging the furnace to bits with his tail." He got big. Do you think Mr. Van Buss will be able to fix him? "I knew," sighed the man, "this would happen one day." And he hung up the phone and he came right away, with lots of strange bottles tucked into his vest, and a thing on his back like a medicine chest. And he took it down cellar and worked under water on Gustav for more than an hour and a quarter. What he did, I don't know, but he must have been wise, 'cause he shrank Gustav back to his regular size. And he said as he handed his fish back to me, "It was mighty hard work, boy, but this time it's free. If it happens again, I'll charge a big fee. So next time, take care," and he stalked through the door. Since then I've fed Gustav so much and no more. Since then I've not fed him more than a spot, 'cause something might happen, and now I know what. So there's Mr. Van Buss. He doesn't know what he did down there, but he fixed the goldfish and shrank it back down into the bowl size. And the boy learned his lesson. He doesn't feed him more than necessary anymore. So, it's a good story and a ring of truth. Now, if I overfeed my dog, he's not going to grow to the size of, like, Clifford the big red dog, but he might get overweight and need extra size. So, always feed your animals just the right amount. Not too much, not too little. You don't want them to be hungry, but you don't want them to be huge either. So, bless me. All right, you guys, it's Friday, so I will not see you again until next week. Monday, I have to be back at the school again all day, so I will not do any videos on Monday. So you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.